Let me tell you about AMAC. AMAC is counting on you and defending you when you stand up to the woke mob. Otherwise, we are going to be kneeling before them. We need groups like the Association of Mature American Citizens, or AMAC, and they are calling on you to help them combat the indoctrination of our children and grandchildren at school. They need your help fighting for the integrity of our elections. They need your help protecting our constitutional rights, including freedom of speech, religion, and the right to keep and bear arms. Ben Franklin said, we all better hang together or certainly hang separately. This is why I ask you to become a member of AMAC. You'll gain access to a wealth of money-saving benefits. If you're a mature American like I am, you'll also be joining an organization that is firmly committed to standing up to the left's radical agenda. Let's all hang together. Stand with more than 2 million patriots. Join amac.us/Beck now. AMAC.
What you are about to hear is the fusion of entertainment and enlightenment. This is the Glenn Beck Program.
Oh, my goodness. There is some absolute true believe every word article that is out today from the Babylon Bee. Apparently, Emperor Palpatine has made a new push for blaster control in his effort to bring peace to the galaxy. He said, we live in a world where the common rogue feels he can just shoot first whenever he feels like it, and this violence has to end. He also was dismissive of the idea that people need blasters in case they have to overthrow the empire if it turns into some tyrannical empire. He said, this is ridiculous. The idea that a rebellion armed with blasters could do anything about us. You need your own armored, planet-destroying superweapon to match the strength of our Death Star. You have to have X-Wings, and they couldn't even scratch the surface. Abandon all hope and rise with us, never against us. Well, that's weird. I believe that story to be true, just like the New York Times believes everything the Babylon Bee writes. It's weird. We're having a hard time believing the New York Times. They're having a hard time not believing the Babylon Bee. Something's just not right here. But I digress, because we have a very important show today. Today, we're gonna talk about Creepy Joe and his creepy whispering speech yesterday. Yeah, that and so much more coming up, because it's Friday.
The Glenn Beck Program.
Do you think it would be more effective if I spoke like the president about mowing the lawn? Because I wrote the bill that says take your mowing game to the next level. Take it to the highest level. And by the way, I'm going to do something very controversial. I won't sign anything that half of America wants me to sign, because the other half of America won't give us all the money we want, and so I'm holding that half of America hostage. I won't sign a bill unless you give me much, much more money. Wow, that's a crazy idea. Look, Hustler Turf has been making zero-turn lawnmowers. Joe Biden can't drive one of these things because he prefers a full flip-flop. Even though you can zero-turn, it's almost like a flip-flop. It's not quite the flip-flop that Joe Biden likes. Anyway, they invented the zero-turn mower, and they know better than anybody else it's the best mower on the market. I want you to look at a Hustler Turf. check out the new 2021 Raptor series. It's built for people just like you, just like me, with less than 3 acres. So do yourself a favor. Visit one of over 1,000 nationwide Hustler dealers and take a hassle-free test drive today. They'll help you select the right lawnmower for your application, and they'll be there if anything happens and you need service way down the road. Find your local Hustler dealer at hustlerturf.com. Over 1,000 nationwide, so there's probably one close. Go to hustlerturf.com. That's hustlerturf.com. Stu, did you see the president and his speech yesterday?
Yes, I did, Glenn.
I don't know why he was whispering. Because he was on TV, so it wouldn't be kept a secret.
He's insane and
it's dramatic
and pretty much senile.
So
is that what it is?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So here he is yesterday in his speech, cut 5, talking about labor shortages.
I'm not being critical, y'all. I really mean this. It was legitimate questions you're asking me. Asking me, well, guess what? Employers can't find workers. I said, yeah, pay them more.
What? Pay them more?
Ugh.
Oh, okay.
I was so hung up on his whispering in this clip that I didn't actually process what he was saying.
No, I know. What he's saying is, and because he follows it up with, I gave them the opportunity. This is their chance to negotiate. Now, as an employer, I couldn't hear that because he was whispering. But all the people that want to make more money at a job, like, for instance, in Texas, there is a fast food restaurant that is now paying teenagers $50,000 to manage the restaurant. That's because Joe Biden, he gave them the opportunity to negotiate more.
Glenn, I went to a sports bar here in Texas recently that I like, and they've started closing at 9 o'clock at night for a sports bar. Now, you may notice many sporting events occur in the evening where you're supposed to watch them at the sports bar. So I finally, I got into this place multiple times. I couldn't get in because there was over an hour wait. Finally got into this place because I wanted to take my son there, and we're sitting in watching the games. And I asked him, the waiter, I'm like, why are you guys closing at 9 o'clock? They can't get anyone to work at the restaurant. So they can't stay open their normal hours. And there is a giant sign, Glenn, in the restaurant that says they are paying people $20 to $24 an hour to work on the backside of this restaurant right now. They're offering huge signs everywhere.
They're not the only ones. I mean, Mooyah's right around the corner, which makes hamburgers in the Dallas area. Oh, they're so good. They close like at 8 o'clock. They can't get anyone to show up for work. What do you think that's going to do? That's going to enhance the push for AI. It's just, I mean, you're not going to get a job. You're just not going to get a job if we keep this up. And it's Joe Biden. But wait, there's more creepy things that Joe Biden said yesterday.
I got them.
Cut 6.
$1.9 trillion relief so far. They're going to be getting checks in the mail that are consequential. I wrote the bill on the environment. Pay them more. This is an employees bargaining chip now. What's happening?
I don't know what's happening. I don't think you really know what's happening. Joe Biden had to be reminded, hey, you might want to address the huge tragedy in Florida. Here's what happened when he tried to walk away from the podium, and his vice president, what's-her-face, decided that, Mr. President, you forgot something. I think I should remind you.
I've got to get a helicopter.
One more. Mr. President, will you travel to Florida, sir? Can we ask you about Florida, what you've learned? And what
yes, I apologize. Yes, thank you, my president. I've spoken with, coincidentally, the mayor of Miami-Dade, who was in my office yesterday.
Yeah. wish he would whisper it. I didn't pay attention to it enough when he was just saying it out loud, you know? By the way, we now find out this is actually all part of an old people's pentatonics sort of group. Cut 7, please.
What's up, everybody? Today we're doing beatbox ASMR. So, beatbox is the art of making music with your mouth. That's lips, tongue, teeth, everything in between. So everything you're about to hear is 100% vocals. Let's go.
I got them. I got them. $1.9 trillion relief. I wrote the bill. On the environment. I wrote the bill. Guess what? Pay them more. Pay them more. $1.9 trillion relief. I got them. I got them. $1.9 trillion relief so far.
So weird. This is not the first time he's done this, by the way. This is a Biden tick. This is him saying I'm actually, this is him bragging. He's saying how wonderful he is, that he got $1.9 trillion from whom exactly? I congratulations for taking someone else's money and or printing it. What an incredible achievement there.
Well, I mean, Stu, taking other people's money, what a way to spin that one. Mm-hmm. He's not going to do it, okay? He's not going to do it. He says that he will not sign this infrastructure deal without a tandem bill for more taxes. Oh, my gosh, no. So he's not going to sign the infrastructure deal unless we have more taxes? Yeah. And there needs to be a budget reconciliation bill on the table as well at the same time. Otherwise, he won't sign the infrastructure bill. Let me just say to the GOP, good. This is good. Now don't move. Don't negotiate. No, we don't want an infrastructure bill. We don't want it. Stop negotiating. But let me just hear if I can hear the Republican Party. Yes, listen. You can hear them. We are going to do it anyway. We're going to negotiate because instead of actually having a spine and standing up for what we should be standing up for, we're actually kind of in on all of this, and we like the spending, so we're going to negotiate, and we'll negotiate, and it won't be quite as bad. But it will be really, really, really bad. Oh, did you hear that? Because I
did.
Man, I thought I heard yeah, that's weird.
And Glenn, there's an argument to be made. Let's just say there's a world, right, where you say, okay, you guys want to spend $2 trillion in infrastructure. What if we give you, $1 trillion in infrastructure, and in return for that, we'll come along on the bill. Mm-hmm. In return for that, you don't. Joe Manchin says, I'm not going along with the $5 trillion of additional spending. And even though I don't trust Joe Manchin, at least there's an argument to be made that, okay, we cut the maximum amount of spending by a decent amount. And even though we went along with some stuff we didn't agree with, okay, we got something out of it. What are they getting out of this? They're saying in advance they're going to spend another $5 trillion if Republicans go along with this. Why on earth would you go along with it?
Right. I have no idea. It's probably those damn lentings. Is that how you say it? I learned a new word from Joe Biden in the speech yesterday. Please play this.
There's a reason why it's been harder to get African Americans initially to get vaccinated. Because they used to being experimented on. The Tuskegee Airmen and others.
Not the Tuskegee Airmen.
Wow. People have memories.
No, Tuskegee
People
experiments.
have long memories. It's awful hard as well to get Latinx vaccinated as well. Why? They're worried that they'll be vaccinated and deported.
Stop.
Oh, my God. There's so much wrong.
Latinx. That is the new brand of Kleenex.
Yes.
except they're made for Hispanic people. It's the new
Tissues
Latinx.
for Hispanics.
Tissues, yes. Yes. Tissues for Hispanics. You'll see I'm holding a Kleenex box now, and you notice that the tissues are white. These tissues will be more of a Latin flavor color. The new Latinx.
That's amazing.
Gosh,
and we can't just let him slide with the fact that he said the Tuskegee Airmen were the ones.
What?
No, they were not the ones.
They were experimented. Yes, while they were fighting, they were experimented on.
It was the Tuskegee
he's got a long memory.
The Tuskegee experiment, which, by the way, the doctor who ran the experiment was black, and the head nurse who ran the experiment was black. But that's a totally different situation on these racist experiments being done by these black doctors and nurses. But no, not the airmen.
That's why you have a hard time getting African Americans to eat at the Tuskegee McDonald's, because they know that they were experimented on in fast food restaurants. Anything Tuskegee, the whole town, all of it, any history, anyone from Tuskegee, if they're white, they're probably doing experiments on you right now. And you don't even know it. Wow. But the Latinx, they know. He can't. Latinx. He has no idea what he's even talking about. He was sounding that word out, Latinx, because he's never said Latinx. Hey, and he's from that part of the area here in the country, where people talk about Latinx all the time. You know, hey, look at over there. What a hot Latinx she is, huh? She's got those tassels on her babusas. And I like it when the Latinx dance for me.
By the way, you know who else has never said the word Latinx? Anyone who's Hispanic. No one has actually. One time.
All right. Let me tell you about Relief Factor. Trial packs are a great idea, a great invention. I love the idea where a company is honest enough to tell you, hey, this might not work for you, so we don't want you to spend a lot of money. Just try this out. I think that's one of the things I really like about Relief Factor. And I almost said the main thing I like about Relief Factor, but the main thing I like about Relief Factor is it works. It gets me out of pain. Now, it will get 70% of the people. Generally speaking, that's what the numbers are. People, 70% go on to order more after the trial period. So why would you do that? I know I'm not going to, hey, you know what? This product didn't work for me. I've got to order some more. They're telling you, don't do that. If it's not working in 30 days, it most likely won't work for you. So try Relief Factor. In the 3-week trial pack, it's $19.95. If it's starting to work for you, take more, because you'll see a difference in your life like I have. Go to relieffactor.com. Call 800-500-8384, 800-500-8384. It's relieffactor.com. 10 seconds, station ID. We have that great guy. Know nothing about him, but we're going to find out about him because he was so great in Bucks County at the school board meeting where he unleashed with facts on freedoms and our Constitution at this meeting. We played his audio yesterday. I'll play it again in a second, but he's going to be on with us. Bill O'Reilly is also coming on with us. The doctor that is being banned everywhere, but he's the guy who actually created the rDNA process. He's going to be on with us to talk a little something. And we might have a special surprise on Kamala Harris's border visit today. All coming up on today's program. Stu, I only have time, really, I think, for one story. And I'm torn. Some of these stories are true. Some of them are not. But let's start there. Which of these headlines are true? Exorcism at the Home Depot lumber aisle FAA program urges to move to more gender-neutral terminology, canceling the word cockpit. Brandeis University warns students not to say picnic or rule of thumb because of the racist background. Or Glenn Beck to deliver a passionate monologue in defense of Britney Spears.
Wow.
Which one's true? Which one's true?
I know one of them is true, which is there was an exorcism attempted at a Home Depot. That one,
yes,
shockingly,
that one is true.
That was true.
Yes,
the Glenn Beck Britney Spears thing. I'm very interested in. Which one isn't true?
Yeah, which one isn't true?
I mean, the cockpit one can't be true, can it? Can't be.
FAA Administration Advisory Group is urging the agency to replace words like airman and cockpit with gender-neutral terms like aviator and flight deck. Now, when I think they said cockpit, I don't think that that's what they meant. Okay. Hey, let's get some Latinx over here in the cockpit. I don't think that's what they were doing.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just saying. Research shows, they said, that the utilization of gender-neutral language can lead to a more inclusive environment that draws more people to the industry and helps keep them there. I know I was a flight steward early on in my career. I had to wear the hot pants and everything. And I thought, I just can't do it because they're using the words like airman and cockpit. And every time I hear that, I think, oh, yes. And then I was disappointed. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's true. More inclusive, flight deck. And for the absolute literal, it will clear up a lot of misunderstandings. Because one day I just showed up right there on the flight deck and I wasn't wearing any pants. And I was like, what? What is the problem?
Wait.
I'm here. I came.
So which one is false? Do you give the answer here?
Oh, none of them are false. None of them are false. None of them are false. And wait until you hear the passionate defense of Britney Spears. That's coming up.
This is the Glenn Beck Program.
American Financing, NMLS 182334, www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
Tyler wrote in and said, Craig was very helpful in securing me a lower interest rate for a refi. He said the entire process was quick and easy. I was contacted quickly. My questions were answered, and I was able to defer 2 months of payments. And the closing was a breeze. They came to my house. I didn't have to go to them. That's Tyler's experience. That's been my experience. That's Stu's experience with American Financing. You will save money. If there's any way to make it happen, American Financing will make it happen, and they'll do it the right way. I didn't take on American Financing at first because I didn't trust mortgage companies and banks, because I saw 2008 coming. I said, I'll talk to you about advertising on the program after the collapse. Let's see how your people fare. Well, they fared very well. They didn't have problems because they worked for you, not the bank. AmericanFinancing.net. AmericanFinancing.net. 800-906-2440.
At blazetv.com/Glenn, not only do you get Glenn TV and Stu Does America, you also get Latinx superstar Sarah Gonzalez on the news and why it matters. Check it out.
I love her. Welcome to the program. It is Friday. Bill O'Reilly is with us in just a few minutes. I can't wait to hear him talk about all the crazy things that have happened this week. One of the highlights, at least of my week, was listening to a guy. He's a former member of the Pennsbury, Pennsylvania School Board. He spoke up about the draconian moves that the school board up in Pennsbury was taking to silence free speech. I want you to listen to a part of this, and then I'm going to introduce you to Simon.
Now, You snowflakes apparently have a bigger problem with public comment. It seems to me that you think you can supersede the United States Constitution. Well, I've got news for you, School Board President Benito Mussolini. Your power does not supersede that of the U.S. Constitution and the First Amendment rights of the citizens of this great nation. Let's be very, very clear who has the power.
Mr.
It is
Campbell,
not government policy.
Do not
warn me or do not interrupt my time.
That if you
interrupt my time,
personal insults like that
interrupt
again,
my
or
time. This is my comment, not your comment. I'm quoting to you now from the United States Supreme Court 1964 case, New York Times versus Sullivan. This is constitutional case law in this country, and I'm quoting you from the U.S. Supreme Court. The judges wrote that this nation is founded on the, quote, profound national commitment to the principle that debate on public issues shall be uninhibited, robust, and wide open, and that it may well include vehement, caustic, and sometimes unpleasantly sharp attacks on government and public officials. That's constitutional case law in this nation. I don't have to be nice to you. Nobody behind me has to be nice to you. If you don't like living in the United States of America, then you can all move to Russia, Cuba, or China. This is the First Amendment.
Now, this guy is incredible.
I will caution you, solicitor. There is a video camera to my left. If you edit this tape, then you're going to have a big legal problem on your hands, because my right to critique your fascism, which is what this is constitutionally protected. There are emails, public record emails, in which the Director of Equity is lobbying and advocating for public comment to be censored in this school district. And you know what?
Okay, stop. This, I understand, and I'm going to bring Simon Campbell in. Hello, Simon. How are you?
Good morning, Glenn. Thanks for having me on. I want you to know that I'm very calm today. I've had my cup of tea, so I should be good.
You were fantastic, but tell me if this is true. I have heard that was spur of the moment. You didn't have any planned remarks. This happened because you talked to a mom in the hallway before the meeting started. Is that true?
That's absolutely correct. You can tell I was not reading off of a script. I'm known locally as a little bit of an activist, a loudmouth, but I was talking to this everyday mom in the entranceway of the school board meeting. She had wanted to speak at the earlier meeting in May, but she had witnessed the thuggery that had taken place at that meeting. And we're trying to get the tape of that meeting, because apparently it's even worse than what happened with me, where the school solicitor, who's supposed to be the taxpayer-funded counsel, is the one doing the dirty work of these radical fascists. When I say dirty work, shouting people down, saying you can't speak, and then editing and cutting the tape of the school district's meeting. So she told me in the entranceway she was too intimidated to speak at the meeting the month before. And she's an ordinary everyday mom, too intimidated in this country to express your views to the government. And I said to myself, right, they've got it coming. And that's kind of what happened.
Holy cow. And this doesn't sound like a Brooklyn accent. And knowing that, I think that your favorite politician was Margaret Thatcher, you're from the UK. How long have you been here? And do you realize you probably know more about freedom than the average American?
Well, I've been here since 2004, and I was naturalized in January 2009. And I always make the point, that day when I was naturalized, there was about 60 of us in Philadelphia from over 30 countries, many of whom had tears in their eyes. Their family members and friends were there. And you really get a sense in that room of what it means to be an American. And so I always think about that moment when I'm mouthing off like I did at the school board meeting, that here you have people who have escaped from, knows what kind of countries. They're finally free. So, for me, I was born and raised in the UK. My favorite politician of all time is Margaret Thatcher. As my parents would say, you can't say her name without raising the glass, raise the glass. But,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I was on that school board, and, I got hammered because I wasn't the biggest fan of the teachers union. And I just took it in stride, because that's what you do in America. You're a public official. They called me the bastard child of Margaret Thatcher. I thought it was the greatest compliment ever. So, these snowflakes, they don't like it.
So, tell me your stance on what is happening there beyond the why are they trying to hide things from the public? Why are they trying to silence? What is going on in your community?
Well, there's a local activist group of parents, I guess, that are upset around what's become known as critical race theory, or these books and this curriculum. And the school district has promoted someone to this position they call Director of Equity, Diversity, and Education. I think that's a ridiculous job title. I don't know what these job titles mean to. But anyway, they were all upset about the proposed book. Well, it just sounds like a load of bollocks to me. And by the way, that's not a rude word because it comes from my favorite album. But they were all upset about this, and I came along and they were telling me about how they were being shouted down in the May meeting, the one that we haven't got the tape for. Apparently, the school solicitor was saying things like, "You're not allowed to say critical race theory." Now, we're trying to get the videotape of this. So this thuggery is going on. And I show up at this sort of parents' house ahead of the school board meeting, and I said, okay, well, what you'll need to do, and we're kind of going over the tactics, speak at public comment. They're not allowed to shut you up. They can't silence you. This is America. Sort of like trying to help out with how to deal with these people. So I don't know why they are tutting the tape. So if you go to Pennsbury School District's website for the May meeting and the March meeting, they've literally cut out speakers who spoke at public comment on this issue. Cut them off the tape. I'm just like, I have got images in my head of 1930s Germany burning books, banning speech. And for me personally, before I even get into the critical race theory debate, we've got fascists in my local community head thinking, and so I just got all riled up on the First Amendment side of it. But clearly they don't want a discussion on this, otherwise they wouldn't be cutting the tape.
Some people would hear you call somebody fascist and they'll say, okay, that's over dramatic. Why are you using that word?
Well, because they are. We have emails, I put them on my YouTube channel. The Director of Equity, this is the lady that crafted a press release behind the scenes. We got all the information behind the right to know law inside the government, where a citizen had spoken in March, very soft-spoken citizen, not a loudmouth Brit like me, just against the policy agenda, right? And this Director of Equity, the tolerance lady, goes to the school board president and the superintendent and says, that guy's a racist. The way that he spoke at public comment in March was like racist dog whistling. Here's how we need to shut him down and others like him. And I think it would be good if the school board president put out a public statement. So the public statement from the school board president going out to the whole community, basically accusing this guy of being a racist when he isn't. I've met him. He's a lovely, nice bloke. And I'm sitting watching this going on. How can you have a society, a freedom, a place called America, where the government is itself issuing press statements that literally say, if you come down and speak against us, we're going to shame you, we're going to name you, we're going to call you a racist, we're going to put out public press statements, and we're going to cut you from the videotape. Now, if that's not fascism, Glenn, you tell me what is fascism.
Simon, why did you come to America? And what's going through your mind as you're watching your new country now go down this path?
Well, I came to America because my wife's from Brooklyn and we met in England, and so she brought back a permanent souvenir. So when I came, well, I just go back to the naturalization ceremony. That's where you get a sense of what America's about. That's where you get, because they give you this book at the ceremony, and it said something. I always remember this one quote. This is former presidents of America, and they give you these quotes, these inspirational quotes. And the one from Reagan stood out to me the most. He said something like, you can move to France, but you'll never become a Frenchman. You can move to Italy, but you'll never become an Italian. He said that anyone from any corner of the world can move to America and become an American. And I think that quote sums it up for me, because America is about a set of ideals. It's not about who you are, what you look like, what your immigrant background is, what your skin color is. It's about an idea, and the idea is freedom. And so when I see the most repugnant attack on freedom in my local community, and I can tell you, this has riled everybody up in my community. Well, I guess it's gone viral now. I mean, quite frankly, my head's spinning with this whole thing. I've got 100 people on my YouTube channel. I put this up there, and my daughter's like, Dad, you're at 1.2 million on TikTok. I'm like, what?
Wow. Well, I think people are thirsty for it. Real quick, can you speak directly to the parent or to the American that is still perhaps on the sideline, wants to stand up, but they just don't want to? They don't want to face this. They don't want to be a part of it. They're afraid their kid will be singled out or whatever. Talk to that person for a second.
Yeah. The thing I would say is take 10, 20, 30 of your friends with you and do not back down, and videotape them. Most public school boards are required to be open to the public. And in Pennsylvania, I'm sure in other states, you can video record these people. And when you actually show them what they're doing, silencing microphones, telling people you're racist, when ordinary Americans see the government behaving that way, that's when it's no longer a conservative liberal issue. That's when it's, are you American or not? And I think that ordinary citizens, take your cell phones down, go hunt in packs, if you will. Take 10, 20, 30 people there. We probably had 100 parents at that school board meeting, most of whom had never been to one before. And I think there's just power in numbers, because no matter what one's position is on a policy, when the government is silencing people, intimidating them, that's when the radical left lose mainstream America.
Simon, thank you so much. I hope we get an opportunity to speak again. Thank you for what you're doing in your community, and I'm proud that you're an American. Welcome.
Thanks a lot, Glenn.
Bill O'Reilly wrote an entire book called Killing the Mob, which is about gangsters going to the mattresses. You know what I'm saying? He talks about it all the time, over and over again. Well, I, for one, enjoy going to the mattresses. One in particular. I mean, actually, it's anyone that has the My Pillow and the Giza Dream Sheets on it. Oh, the My Pillow mattress topper, huh? I like going to that mattress a lot. Well, ask Bill O'Reilly about that mattress. Did he cover that in his book? I don't think so. Right now, you can get a standard or queen premium My Pillow for $29.98. These things are normally about $70, so it's a $40 savings, and kings are only $5 more. And it comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you don't need to take my word for it. You check it out. If you don't like it, send it back. It's MyPillow.com. Click on the new radio listener specials. There you'll find not only this amazing offer, but also deep discounts on all MyPillow products, including the Giza Dream bed sheets, which are fantastic, the MyPillow mattress topper, and MyPillow towel sets. Enter the promo code BECK or call 800-966-3117 for the great radio specials at MyPillow.com, promo code BECK. Stu, choose your news. I've added a new headline. First, Glenn Beck to deliver passionate monologue in defense of Britney Spears today on the Friday exclusive Blaze TV. Story number one.
I'm interested in that. Okay.
Okay. Story number two. Exorcism in the lumber aisle at Home Depot. Brandeis University warns students not to say picnic or rule of thumb because of its racist roots. And the news story, world-renowned ice cream connoisseur and general fat pig, Glenn Beck, a contestant in an ice cream eating contest today.
Wow. Now, this is different than your normal at-home single-person ice cream eating contest that you have daily?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Wow. That's pretty fascinating. I wouldn't mind hearing about...
Which story do you want?
That
one?
Yeah. Let's hear... What do you mean you're in an ice cream eating contest?
So I was called by my good friends at Brooker's Founding Flavors, my favorite ice cream place in the world. And I have tasted ice cream all around the world. And they're having a big, they're introducing the new, I can't remember what it is, but it's a Liberty Bell turned upside down into like this really good 13, colonies, 13 scoops of ice cream, 4 different toppings. And I mean, it's just incredible. Mike Lee is going to be there. Let's see. David Osmond is going to be there. It's my understanding that Ryan Hamilton is going to be there or was invited to come. I don't know. I think there was a conflict on the schedule. And I'm going to be there. And I think I take those guys in an ice cream eating contest that fast.
I mean, I'm thinking of the people you just discussed. You are a very heavy favorite in multiple ways.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you would use the word disgust during this conversation.
This is the Glenn Beck Program.
My Patriot Supply would like to ask you if you're prepared for the next prolonged food shortage in America. 98% of Americans only have a few days' worth of food at home. That's not good. The harsh truth is the actions you take today will determine how you survive tomorrow. I urge you strongly today to get a life-saving stockpile of food from my longtime friends at My Patriot Supply. They are the nation's pioneer in emergency preparedness, self-reliance, and I've recommended them highly for years. Just go to preparewithglenn.com right now. Save 25% off a 4-week emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. Their food lasts up to 25 years and provides you with much-needed 2,000 delicious calories every day. 25% off right now, the absolute bare minimum you should have, a 4-week food kit. Don't wait. Don't react. Act now. Go to preparewithglenn.com.
Bill O'Reilly is next, says Joe Biden.
What you are about to hear is the fusion of entertainment and enlightenment. This is the Glenn Beck Program.
It's Friday, which means the one, the only, Mr. Bill O'Reilly is going to be joining us for a logical, quiet discussion about things like Biden's gun speech this weekend, or Kamala's trip to the border, or the president's pro-life stance, or the White House strategy to combat domestic terrorism, or Loudoun County and the rest of the country and critical race theory, and how the press and the media and the politicians are handling that with more lies. Oh yeah, it'll be a civil discussion with Bill O'Reilly in 60 seconds.
The Glenn Beck Program.
Sunshine and backyard cookouts are back in the forecast. Blinds.com wants to help you soak up the savings during their 4th of July spectacular, during which you can save up to 45% off everything. It's time to transform that backyard into the perfect oasis this summer, and there is no better way to do it than with their top-selling outdoor shades. Blinds.com makes getting made-to-order custom blinds for any room in your home or outdoor space an absolute breeze. Whether you do it yourself or have them handle the installation from start to finish, Blinds.com will see you through the process, and they have free samples, free shipping, and a 100% guaranteed perfect fit. With over 25 million blinds sold and 35,000 5-star reviews, you can see why Blinds.com is the #1 retailer of custom window treatments in the world. So visit Blinds.com for the 4th of July spectacular and receive up to 45% off everything at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions do apply. Well, No, Sarah, stop that. We need to go with Kamala south of the border. Yes, arriba. And here's Mr. Bill O'Reilly as we prepare for her trip to the border. Hey, Bill, how are you?
I'm good, Beck. I just want to confirm that you have received all your comp tickets to the Trump O'Reilly History Show. I think the count was the last 72. I mean, Beck has got so 72. Many people comp. Yeah, they don't even know who Beck is. All right, so we call and say, hey, I comped you to the Trump O'Reilly History Show. They go,
that's right.
Who did? All right, so we got all
that's
that
right.
set.
That's right.
You are set in Dallas.
When is the first? When's the first one happening, Bill?
December 11th, Fort Lauderdale. December 12th, Orlando. 18th, Houston. 19th, the one you and your 72 comps will be at in Dallas at the American Airlines Arena.
Okay, good. It's 76, but that's all right. I'll pay for the last couple. Bill, let me ask you. This was not on my agenda today, but I do want to ask you because DeSantis is really starting to look like a strong possible candidate for president, and he's doing all of the right things. Do you think he has a chance of winning if he were the nominee? And if Donald Trump runs, what happens to DeSantis? Is there any chance of DeSantis really beating him in a primary? If not, would Donald Trump think of him as a vice president?
That's the longest question I've ever heard in my entire life. And the answer will be pithy. We don't know because things will happen in the next 2 years. What we do know is that DeSantis is the strongest Republican candidate right now, today. So Republicans across the board like him. He is very shrewd in the way he's positioning himself against all this social madness, all this economic chaos. He's doing what he has to do to mobilize the Republican base. Now, Donald Trump is a wild card. You don't know in 2 years where he's going to be. He told me that he would like to run. All right, I can report that with accuracy. He'd like to. Whether he can run or not, based on resources, based on what the party is presenting, we don't know. But it is absolutely feasible that a Trump-DeSantis ticket could emerge.
That was anything but a pithy answer, but let's move on. What do you think the big story of the week is, Bill?
I think the speech on violent crime is a important story, not just in the short term, but it was simply stunning. Stunning is the word. That the President of the United States got up there, and he's basically telling the American people, hey, we're going to crack down on gun dealers. And that's going to stop all the murders in Chicago, New York City, L.A., all across the country. We're going to get those gun dealers. And I'm saying to myself, is this a fantasy? I mean, is this a delusion? He didn't mention the police, not in the speech. Can you imagine talking about violent crime with the whole nation and you don't mention the police, the attacks on the police, the defunding of police? You don't mention it, okay? Didn't mention the drug gangs, which are responsible for most of the murders in the big urban areas. Didn't mention them, okay? Didn't mention the prosecutors who refuse to bring criminals into court, let them go. Didn't mention it. And I'm sitting there going, this is insane. A fifth grader
but I think that's
could have done this speech.
I think that's the way most people feel about most things right now. So what does it mean? I mean, I'm watching these speeches from people, and they are never connected to reality. And I don't mean like we have a difference of opinion or that's just a lie. It's delusional. It's delusional.
So I asked my liberal friends who voted for Biden, I torture them. And I will call up one or two and I go, hey, What'd you think of that speech? That was pretty good, wasn't it? And there's silence, and they hate me. And then they say, he's better than Trump. All right, that's what it is. That's the fallback. No one's defending Joe Biden except CNN and MSNBC, and they're so corrupt. It's like they could be in killing the mob. I should have gotten them in there. But they're so corrupt, people don't even pay attention to them anymore. But my liberal friends who are intelligent, all they have is he's better than Trump. That's it.
When you heard the president say, you're going to need a nuclear weapon, you're going to go against the government of the United States. When you hear that, I heard that for the very first time from any president. I've never heard a president say that. And it was almost as if he was threatening people in the country. Did you hear that? And since you have been reporting the news since the Lincoln administration, have you ever heard a president say that?
Actually, it was the Buchanan administration right before Lincoln.
Okay.
That's when I began.
All right. Well, okay.
Look,
all right.
I don't pay attention to that stuff because Joe Biden has done that for decades. He's made these crazy statements. He doesn't really know what he's saying anymore. Back then, you got to figure that he just made the crazy statement to amuse himself. But now he just doesn't know what he's saying. I mean, apparently we fought a war with Iran. Did you know that, Beck? I mean, apparently we did.
I learned that yesterday.
I kind of missed it, but Joe, he was on it. So we have a guy.
Well, but it's the only way. Hang on just a second. If you haven't heard this statement, it is the only statement that he has made in quite a while that is 100% true. He said COVID resulted in more deaths than our war with Iran. And that is true, Bill. You can spin it any way you want, but that's true.
I got it. He listed all the wars. For those of you who didn't hear it, he listed all the wars, Vietnam and Afghanistan, and then he threw in Iran. Of course, there was no war. But if you watched Joe Biden's speech, and very few people did, because the folks know what's going on, and they do. He had prompter stare, and most people don't understand what this is. So Biden, his speeches are written for him. I assume he reads them over. I assume, or maybe Jill reads them to him. I don't know. But the way it usually goes is somebody writes your speech for you, and Trump had speechwriters too. And then you go over it with a pen and make your edits and sharpen it up, whatever you want to do. They put it on a machine called the teleprompter. Now, professional broadcasters like Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly, we can read those words, and you won't even know we're reading it. I mean, we're conversational. We're basically, but the words are there in front of you. With Biden, he's got prompter stare. He's staring so intently at the copy because he doesn't really know what it is. I mean, he actually read two paragraphs that were identical. So somebody screwed it up on the teleprompter, but he read them. Word for word. Hey, Joe, you just said that.
Back to back? I didn't. Wow, yeah. I didn't catch that. Back to back?
Yeah, well, it was separated by about 2 minutes, and there was some kind of malfunction, and he reads the same exact thing. And the reason you didn't catch it is because after 45 seconds, it is humanly impossible to listen to him anymore. So people are doing their nails, they're picking up a
right.
machine, you're not listening to him because it's just so ridiculous, his presentation. And I think a lot of people, particularly women, feel sorry for the man. I think he's got a lot of people. I think that in the Democratic precincts, and of course they still hate Donald Trump without any doubt, but they're kind of like, okay, we know he's not in charge of the country, but at least our folks are in the White House doing this progressive garbage, and we like that. That's what really is coming down now.
I want you to listen to this because of prompter stare. You're exactly right. Listen to this. He doesn't even understand the words he's speaking. Cut 4, please.
There's a reason why it's been harder to get African Americans initially to get vaccinated, because they used to being experimented on. The Tuskegee Airmen and others. People have memories. People have long memories. It's awful hard as well to get Latinx vaccinated as well. Why? They're worried that they'll be vaccinated and deported.
Latinx.
Well, I mean,
new from Johnson & Johnson.
You're giggling, but in my town, the CVS, if you walk in and you get a vaccination and you look Hispanic, they immediately throw a net over you and call ICE.
Right.
I don't know if that's
exactly
happening
right.
everywhere, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, again, he lives in a world that doesn't exist. And that you want a pithy? Joe Biden lives in a world that does not exist. And this is the most powerful man in the world.
So I don't think he is, and I think you would agree with this. It's probably Barack Obama that is now the most powerful man in the world. It's his people doing it. But so I ask you again, what does it mean when he says these things? We both know he doesn't know what he's talking about. He is completely out of touch now. But whoever is writing that and whoever is developing all of this policy for the Latinx, whoever's developing these things, they do have power.
Yes, absolutely. But Biden still has the power because he's got to sign it. It's like Uncle Ned. Uncle Ned comes over for Thanksgiving, and, you want Uncle Ned to pay for the dinner, so you just put a little check right in front of him and say, sign this, Uncle Ned. And Uncle Ned signs it, so he picks up the meal. That's what's happening in the White House.
All right, back with Bill O'Reilly in 60 seconds. First, let me tell you about Robert, who lives in California. He writes in to tell us about his experience with Relief Factor. He says, I didn't think Relief Factor was working until I ran out mid-month. After about 3 days, the pain was right back where it started. And that's when I realized how much Relief Factor was helping. I got to tell you, I didn't run out. I stopped taking it because I thought, this isn't helping. I'm just feeling better. Oh, my gosh. What a mistake. Anyway, great test for me to see how Relief Factor works, and it works great for me. Thank you so much for recommending it, Glenn. Robert, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. I thank you for actually trying it. Once I discovered what Relief Factor could do, I knew that I had to take it every day. I still take it every day and spread the word. And Robert, I'm sure you're doing that in your world too. It's not a drug developed by doctors, and 70% of the people who take it go on to order more. Try Relief Factor for yourself by getting the 3-week quick start for only $19.95. If it's not working for you in 3 weeks, it's probably not going to, so don't order more. But 70% of the people who try it do go on to order more because it works. It's Relief Factor. ReliefFactor.com, 800-500-8384. 800-500-8384. It's ReliefFactor.com. 10 seconds. Station ID. Come back with Latinx when I start the commercial, Sarah. And today's broadcast is sponsored by Latinx. Yes, when you've got a cold that just won't let up, why not reach for a box of Latinx? Latinx, also known to crumple naturally into the shape of the Virgin Mary. Frequently cited as holy relics. That's right, holy moly. Thanks for the blessings of new Joe Biden Latinx. All right. Bill O'Reilly, welcome back to the program. So
thank you, Ben.
There's a couple of other things
here on Friday. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that I want to talk to you about that weren't necessarily the first up in the news, but I think are very, very important. The administration has introduced their national strategy for countering domestic terrorism. Don't know if you've had a chance to read that yet, but they are partnering with Google and high tech to spy on Americans to root out this terror that is coming from white supremacists. They're not only spying on Americans, using the information from big tech to discover who is an influencer, who's being influenced, and then taking steps to make sure that that doesn't continue. Your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are that there are probably 18 white supremacists, and they live up in Idaho, northern Idaho, and okay.
Hey.
I guess they're going to spy on them. I was in Wyoming last week, Beck. Did you know that? I drove by your house.
I was in Wyoming.
And
were you really in Wyoming? Because
yeah, for a week. And I wrote a column on it, and I compared Wyoming with New York and San Francisco. You should read that column, Beck. You will be illuminated if you do. It's on BillO'Reilly.com. But what I found out was if you were a white supremacist, you would go to a place like Wyoming or Idaho or Utah where there is a rural landscape and there are not a lot of folks. Okay, so everybody in Wyoming has firearms. Why? Because there are bears, Beck. Okay, big bears. So they have firearms. All right? However, Wyoming is one of the lowest murder rates in the country, even though the landmass of the state is number 10. And so if it's all about guns, Joe Biden, into the hands of the citizens, if this is what the problem is, why don't we have a lot of murders in Wyoming when everybody has a gun? You have to have a gun.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So Joe Biden, if I asked him that question, he would, he'd say, well, the Iranians are going to invade there and, some crazy thing.
Right.
He can't process. But you basically have a country where there's no logic anymore. All right. Now, I gave the white supremacist thing a chance. I said, all right, show me where these people are. Who are they? Is this David Duke running wild in Louisiana? Where are these people? And never can they come up with anything. FBI can't come up with anything. None of the intelligence agencies can. And it's like, I know there are white supremacists, but there are maybe 40 of them. Okay, there are more Antifa kooks in Portland, Oregon than in the entire country of white supremacy. But it's a canard. Word of the day for Stu. It's a canard. All right? We'll panic everybody on these crazy white supremacists. They're everywhere. And then we'll divert away from the real problems in America. That's what they do. It's what every insane government does.
All right, we're going to continue with Bill O'Reilly here in a second. I want to ask you, Bill, about a couple of nominees. The nominee of the ATF, or as Joe Biden calls it, the AFT, a pretty radical individual, and the head of BLM, which is Bureau of Land Management, not Black Lives Matter. This person is truly frightening on the things that they have said. She sounds like she's reading right from Mao's Little Red Book. The 1 or 2 child policy in America. But she's in charge of the land that the federal government has that ranchers use. Why is that a problem? And will they continue to put these people in? More with Bill O'Reilly. Let me tell you about our sponsor this half hour. It's realestateagentsitrust.com. The job of a real estate agent is so critical. Buying and selling houses is stressful. It's an emotional time for you if you're the buyer or the seller. You need somebody who is the best at getting people to their website and being able to have a bunch of people that are already looking for a house like yours so they can sell it fast and for the most amount of money. They also need to tell you the truth. Your house needs to be remodeled. That's what they said to me. And I didn't want to hear it, but that's what they told me. Look, it's not going to sell unless you remodel and you do this and this and this. Okay, great. They will tell you the truth, and they will help you get it done. They will help you. I mean, all the way through our remodel at our house, we've had our real estate agents that we trust at the house and been asking them, should we do this or this, this or this? realestateagentsitrust.com. realestateagentsitrust.com. They will help you, and it's a free service to you. Find the best one in your area.
New Glenn TV and Studios America on blazetv.com/Glenn. Promo code is Glenn to save $10. More with Bill O'Reilly of BillO'Reilly.com coming up.
This is the Glenn Beck program. It's Friday. We have Bill O'Reilly with us. Bill, there's a couple of nominees that, well, Susan Collins said she's not going to vote for the new nominee for the head of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. She says he's a radical that has been an outspoken critic of the firearms industry and has made statements that demean law-abiding gun owners. The people that he has nominated and is putting into these positions inside the administration, for instance, the woman that he has nominated for BLM land, she's going to oversee all of the use of the Bureau of Land Management land. And I have to tell you, she believes children are, quote, an environmental hazard. We should only have one or two do the right thing for the planet. And she also has spoken out about cows grazing on public land. If she gets her way on that, there is no cattle rancher anymore. There's no food from cows because the ranchers can't afford to not use that public land. Your thoughts on these radicals?
Yeah, they're not going to get confirmed in the Senate. You know, the hearings will just blow them out of the water. But the second and most important thing is that I don't even believe Joe Biden knows who they are. He has no
I agree with that.
But, you know, they just put stuff in front of him, as we said in the first half hour, and he signs it. You know, we on BillO'Reilly.com, Beck, which you should be glued to, every day we lead with Biden's schedule, what he's got on his official schedule.
Right.
And very rarely does he have anything. So on Thursday of this week, yesterday, he goes to Raleigh, North Carolina on taxpayer expense, and he meets with people who are vaccinating other people. Why? Is this new? No. Why would he bother to go down there and meet with people who are giving out the vaccine? Why? There's never an answer. It's just ridiculous. So, you know, I think in the next 12 months, there's going to be an enormous backlash against the Biden administration. I think they're going to get their butts kicked in 2022.
Well, I would hope so. But this leads me to the question, we both agree that Biden is not the architect behind this, and that it is the Barack Obama administration. 90%, according to Barack Obama, 90% of those in the White House were with him in the White House. But when he was in the White House, I did an awful lot of research to find out who was writing all of these policies. And it was Center for American Progress. It was the Tides Foundation that was behind a lot of this stuff. Who is behind it now? Who is writing these bills and this policy?
Well, look, the pipeline is you've got Susan Rice, who is best friend to Michelle and Barack Obama. She's the top domestic advisor.